Okay, so while I have my whole recording setup, whatever you want to call it, out, thought I'd showcase the long-awaited MRC tuned Novarossi P5 breakdown, I guess you could say. So here I have all the important parts really. The head, piston, sleeve, head button, crankshaft. So I'll start with the crankshaft on this one. This is the original Novarossi P5 crankshaft. I think that model of the P5 was the RX21 P5 or something like that. But it is silicone ramped. I didn't touch any of the crank timing because I don't have the right stuff to measure that yet. As you can see here, took some weight off of here to help with balancing, and then I improved the knife edge right here just because this is kind of blunt. I have a Pico crankshaft to compare it to right over here, so you can see on the Pico crankshaft, if it'll focus, I don't know, the Pico has like this black anodized coating on it or something like that, so it looks kind of funky, but can't really see it. But right over here, yeah, this part is, it doesn't flow nicely. The cut is angled like this, and then it kind of just goes like that instead of being a nice smooth line. So basically I just smoothing that out, so when it's spinning like this it's smoother. And then I left all of this alone because I didn't want to take too much out of here, because as you can see this is a huge cut and there's no sort of brass or anything. And I took a little bit of material off of here because this has the same effect as this cut or swoosh, whatever you want to call it, but because the halfway point of the crankshaft is right about here, most of the material cut off is above that. See? So that also helps with balancing. Okay, sleeve. So as you can see, the newer models of the P5 did not have this little relief port, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the work I did is I just put fangs on the bottom of all the intake ports, and I put fangs on the top of the relief ports. I probably should have taken this little chamfer and continued it off to the end of the port, but that's something to think about for a different engine that has these. Yeah, I just did that on both sides, and then I did the two fangs on the intake port. I made them a little bit longer than I wanted to, but it's fine. And then the beveling, or the chamfer right here, it's pretty messy. I didn't do a good job on that, but it still made it a nice, I don't know how well that shows it, but it's pretty good, a pretty steep angle right there. And then I never touched the exhaust port because I wanted this engine to keep the bottom end, so I didn't want to raise the blowdown and lose the bottom end. And I know this engine already had really good top end, so I just left it alone, especially since I didn't have the measuring tools for it. Now the piston, this is where all the damage is. So you can see over here, looks like a normal piston. You got your hole for the wrist pin right there, your relief, or whatever you're gonna call it, hole that lines up with that hole right there. And then here's the front. You can already see the damage, some of it. And then this side is where it gets real bad. There. Yeah, after looking at it, it looks like the wrist pin popped out over here. And then it probably made its way through an intake port and ended up underneath the piston, and then popped out through this hole, because that's where most of the scarring is right next to that hole. So it probably got underneath the piston, and then when it was coming down, came out here, went up into this port, and then messed up the piston. That's pretty bad. You can see there's some dings around the edge of the top of the piston. Most of the sleeve is fine, but then there are two really deep scores. I doubt you can see those, but they're right here. And my fingernail catches on them pretty bad. So this piston and sleeve is not good anymore, which is kind of annoying because the repinch and everything was really good. As you can see from my video where I was idling it for break-in, it was idling. I didn't shut it off, it was idling the whole time. 3.5-ish tanks, real smooth. But here you can see the head button is all dinged up. There are actually pieces of the wrist pin clip stuck in there. You can see the dark spots right there, there, and then right over here. Those little dark spots are the wrist pin clip. They got stuck and embedded into here. And then the coil on the glow plug is all messed up. And last but not least is the cooling head. Put my name over here, MRC. And then what I did is I just wet sanded, or I used wet sandpaper around the whole outside of this to make all the ends of the fins, the raw aluminum. I think the contrast makes it look a little bit cooler. And then I drilled holes all the way around to lighten. Wasn't my cleanest job, but you know, it looks kind of cool from outside like that. Except for that one where I misaligned two holes. Or I misaligned one hole, then drilled another one kind of crooked. So when I went to the bigger drill bit, there's like 3 holes in one spot there. 2 small ones and 1 bigger one. Yeah, the cooling head, I just lightened it. And then the holes actually help with cooling too, so. Yeah. That's the MRC tuned Novarossi P5. I've been looking for a piston and sleeve. I think I found one. I don't know if they'll ship it to me though, but we'll see about that. Yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.